Now, instead of saying, okay, is price confirming that it's continuously moving in my favor? And is order flow still on my favor in my own side? That's where your attention is. You're not looking at the profit and loss little button on your screen. How much money am I up and down, up and down? You do that, you're done. I just do that to show you eye candy to hold your attention in the early stages. You don't need to see that once you understand what you're doing, because you can clearly see, okay, it's moved in your favor. Do the math. How many contracts could you have been there? And there it is. In the beginning, new traders, new students, they need to be entertained. There's got to be a hook in their mouth that draw them this direction. And I'm a master at that. Good songs, maybe not every song, because I'm sure some of you would have heard songs that I put in my videos where like, what the hell is he thinking putting this in there? It's not for you, it's for me. But I know how to draw a crowd. And once that crowd's there, I know how to teach you. But I also am aware that some of you are not teachable and you'll walk away before you should. And some of you, I'm glad you did or do, because you're not prepared and you're just going to be toxic. But knowing what to do, when to react to it. When we react, okay, I saw this, I can't remember the guy's name. He's a YouTuber. He tweeted, your job as a trader is not to predict the future. It's to react to price. What the fuck kind of logic is that? Like that literally encapsulates retail trading right there. That's it. That's it. That is retail trading in a sentence. What you're saying by saying something like that, or if your thoughts are in alignment with that, what you're essentially saying is there's no way to know where price is likely to go. So fuck it, let's gamble. That's exactly what you're saying. Your job is not to try to predict price. Your job as a trader is to react to price. Get the fuck out of here. Listen, if you don't know where the draw on liquidity is, where the market's likely to be going up or down to, you're clueless. You have no business, zero business pushing a button in that regard. You don't have any business doing any kind of trading because you're literally putting a blindfold on, being spun around 50 times in the dark, stopped. It's okay. Take this tack, walk forward, and pin the donkey, pin the tail on the donkey game. But you're doing it disoriented. And you're reacting. What are you going to react to? When your hand hits the wall, okay, push the thumbtack in. Let's see what happens. Bullshit is what happens. These individuals that hold that logic, that's the reason why they struggle. And they have hit and miss results once in a while. And what keeps them in the game? Risk management. They suck at trading. Their trades are just terrible. The logic to get into the trade is lacking. But what keeps them in the game? Money management. But I'm a professional trader. I make my money from trading. Okay. Imagine if you learned how to determine where price is going and you kept everything else the way it is. How much better would you be? I'm interested in seeing that. But you have to know what we're doing is predicting price. We're predicting it. We're time fucking traveling, okay? We're literally moonwalking into the future, gaining insight and coming right back to where we are right then and sitting in front of the charts. What does that mean? It's impossible. Now he's talking out your ass. Okay, well, listen, when you're looking at the charts, you need to be able to see in your mind's eye, can you physically see the price running up to that relative equal high? If you can see it, that's the first step. You have to be able to see that that potentially is in the chart. It could manifest itself. Now, how it finally gravitates to there, Is it going one straight shot, or is there two price legs into it, maybe three price legs before it gets there? That's not important. You're submitting to the idea that you are seeing this present price action. It's likely to go up to those relative equal highs where there's buy side liquidity. So you're submitting yourself to what? I'm in a buy program. I'm going to be buying discount or raise. I'm going to be observing price and looking to see if down closed candles support price and repel it higher. To the left of all that, if there is a range in price action, I want to see up closed candles being traded through. That's institutional order flow being bullish. You don't need a depth of market. You don't need moving averages. You don't need any of that shit. The chart will tell you everything you need to know. But you're not reacting to any fucking thing except for that internal voice that tells you you're in troubled waters. That's the only time you're getting permission from ICT to react to any fucking thing. You're reacting to your conscience. Your conscience is talking to you saying, hey, this is probably not a good idea now because you're not listening to me. And you and the gambler are arguing with one another. And I'm trying to guide us through this trade. And you are causing a decoupling. And now it's going to be physically felt with fear of missing out on the move, fear of being stopped out, disorientation. There's going to be a day, I promise you this, whether you've ever had an anxiety attack or not, this is going to happen to you. There's going to be a time when you have a funded account or you have real money at risk and you're in a trade out of nowhere. Your heart's going to start beating a little bit too fast. You're going to start hyperventilating. You won't really notice it until it starts. But then you're going to feel anxious. You may feel like you want to throw up, feel like you need to go to the bathroom. You're going to lose control of yourself or pass out. Feel like you can't breathe. Feels like you're not getting air, but you're hyperventilating and breathing too much. Start seeing stars. Feel like you're going to faint. Feels like the whole world is now laying on your back. And you're in a trade while all that's going on. That's an anxiety attack. That's usually when the analyst is saying, listen, it's it. Like we're doing everything now to get your attention. So what should you be doing? Reacting. You need to react to that. But you need to be predicting the future and price. That's what we do as traders. Anybody, and I've seen this multiple times with other educators and such, anytime someone tells you your job as a trader is not to predict the price, get the fuck away from that person. That person doesn't know shit. They know nothing. They absolutely know nothing. They're leading you down the primrose lane. They're full of shit. They can't do it, and they're just trying to justify their own ignorance, period. That's the way it is. Someone in this industry tells you your job is not to try to predict the price. What the fuck are you doing if you're not doing that? How are you not trying to predict the future? If you're bullish, what does that mean? That means you're a buyer. So you're what? You're predicting that price is going to go fucking up. What kind of shit is that? Your job is not to try to predict the future, but to react to price. No, 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 no. We are predicting where price is going to go. We are anticipating that prices are going to go to a discount when we're bullish. We're going exactly where the fuck we're trying to buy. We know exactly where our fucking stop loss is going to be. We know exactly why the fuck we're expecting it to go up. We are not reacting to shit. Period. That's just the fucking way it is. That's the reality. That's trading. That's the real shit. That's in the trenches, real fucking trading. Any fucking body that tells you anything apart from that, you unfollow, you fucking tell them to go fuck themselves and stop spreading misinformation. That's how you handle that shit. Period. That really fucking gets under my fucking skin, man. Like I don't like that because that's ignorance. That's fucking class A fucking ignorance masquerading as fucking wisdom. Get the fuck out of here, man. That's fucking Sesame Street fucking wisdom. React to price. Get the fuck out of here. And you're probably listening to this, so do fucking better. But you have to know when that conscious is talking to you. And if you feel unsettled, you feel uncomfortable while you're in that trade, that's the surest time signal to you that you need to react to that as I need to bail on half the trade and just kill it. And if you can't, take the whole trade off. I promise you, in the first few times that you do it, it'll feel like, especially if it runs further, it'll feel like that's the worst advice you ever received. But I promise you, it will serve you better than anything else because it takes so much more for the human mind to go through that stressful endeavor of holding through that shit. When you're new, you don't have any experience. You have none. You're going through it. So yes, at some point you will have to submit to it. But initially, when you're developing, when you first get that first experience, you do not dig your heels in and say, I'm holding on for dear life. You master yourself. You reward yourself. You've taken the risk up to that moment. You've submitted to the trade idea up to that moment. But something is occurring and you don't know. I don't know if it's your experience that you've now gained that's trying to communicate to you through your content saying, okay, this is no longer a viable setup. You don't know that yet. So the first instances of this occurring in your development and you're in a live trade where you have real money at risk, you take half the trade off. I promise you that's the best advice that you're going to get regarding that moment. That instance of where you're in there and you feel like you're completely out of control. You can't focus. You can't come to the decision of get in, I'm not get in, but stay in the trade or get out. If you're in that arm wrestling match ever, and it's a live account trade when there's real money, and you are wrestling with should I get in, or I'm sorry, should I get out of the trade or should I hold on to it? If you are completely wrestling with that and you can't even focus on what price is doing right now, you're being distracted by that. So you won't be able to watch order flow. You won't be able to receive the information that price is going to tell you because you're watching the likelihood of you being right slip out from your hands. And that pursuit of being right overtakes the logic that puts you into the trade or would keep you in the trade. It doesn't feel clear at the time. You feel like you're losing your mind. And if you're in a panic attack or anxiety attack while it's going on, it makes it worse. But I promise you, 10 minutes after you close the trade or take half off, it goes away. You'll see things a little bit clearer. If you're in panic, if you're disoriented in a trade and you start worrying about whether you should stay in or get out, half the trade comes off. Walk away, minimum 10 minutes. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. If it comes back and hits your stop, who cares? You're comfortable with that. If it goes to target, who cares? You were expecting that anyway. But 10 minutes. Because what happens is if you remove yourself from the stimulation that causes the anxious moment and would have thinking, you've now immediately reacted to the emergency that your mind's saying that you're in when there really isn't. There is no emergency. But you don't realize that at the time. So to master yourself and your emotions and the psychological warfare that you're putting yourself through is you take half the trade off, make sure the stop's at better than break even, and you submit to the rest of the move. Whatever happens, happens. But you must walk away, leave the room where your charts are, minimum 10 minutes. It's going to feel like you want to rush back in there and just peek and see what's going on. Don't. Do something else. Take a walk, go grab something to drink, stretch out, Let 10 minutes pass. All of the adrenaline, the cortisol, all those hormones that your body's releasing, they'll burn off in 10 minutes if you do something other than what you were doing, which is standing still like a Ferrari in park, but with the acceleration pedal down to the floor. You're tearing the engine up. It's not meant to do that. And the only thing you're going to do is keep that panic attack going until you're probably going to get sick, pass out, or feel like you're dying and call an ambulance for nothing. And between the time you call the ambulance because you feel like you're dying, you're having chest palpitations, tightness in your chest, tingling down your arm. I would always get this tingling in the corner of my left, like the corner of my left side of my mouth. It would start tingling, and it would be like this numbness, tingling feeling that goes right up, like you were drawing a smiley face on the right side of my mouth, from the corner up to my left eye corner. It would be like a pathway of numbness right there, and all that was adrenaline. Because I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting there looking at my charts. What if this, and what if that, and what if this, and what if that? And I'm basically scaring myself, and I'm releasing adrenaline, but sitting still, doing nothing to burn it off. Your brain says there's an emergency, fight or flight. Fight or flight. Let's get it on, or let's get the hell out of here. And what am I doing? Sitting still, looking at something that I'm constantly telling myself there's an emergency. I need to make a reaction and decision. What are we doing? And I'm doing nothing. I'm what if thinking, what if thinking, and what if thinking. And then finally, cortisol, that hormone's released in my bloodstream. And now I start feeling physical symptoms, chest tightness. I'm breathing faster because my brain's been told there's an emergency right now. And I've released adrenaline. Now my heart races faster. And cortisol is a stress hormone that once it hits your body, you're completely in a different state of mind. You will start feeling physical symptoms. Palms will be sweaty. You'll start maybe trembling, dizziness because you've blew off all your CO2, but it feels like you're not getting oxygen, but you're just too low on CO2. You blew it off. The exhaling, too much. You ever see the people breathe into a paper bag? What that does is it helps regulate your blood oxygen level with the CO2, so it's balanced. You have to slow your breathing down. Take your attention onto something else. And I mentioned over the summer last year, I said the way you beat a panic attack is have a sweep second hand on your watch, and you feel your pulse, and you watch the sweep second hand, and you count. And what you're doing is you're taking your attention away from the things that you're scaring yourself with. And that's how you do it. You take the trade off halfway or close it, and you remove your attention from the charts. Physically leave the room for 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, you'll feel silly, and you'll probably start laughing like, what the hell did I just scare myself with? There's no emergency. There is no emergency. But you can trick yourself into thinking there is. And if your mind's racing like that, can you really follow your model? No. No one can. It's impossible. Zero possibility. And so many times traders fall into this condition multiple times in their career. But the first time it happens, it is scary as shit. Like, you're afraid you're going to pass out. And what happens then? What if the trade just keeps coming back and stops me out? You're stopped out. What the fuck are you worried about? Like, I used to have panic attacks and think to myself, wow, if I'm in a restaurant and say I start choking, and then I get the food caught in my throat, and then finally I end up vomiting in front of everybody. How embarrassing would that be? Well, how about, what if it doesn't happen and I enjoy my meal? What the fuck? That's what the human mind does, though. It reaches for the negative all the time. And people that are toxic, they live themselves outwardly like that, constantly looking for something to dramatize, constantly looking for something to criticize. They're miserable people. And the folks that don't do that outwardly tend to do it inwardly, and then they punish themselves with anxious feelings of emotion that are unbridled, and you lose thought, control, mastery of yourself. And now you're not watching the market. You're not even worrying about being stopped out. You're not worried about making the money. You're wondering now, am I dying? Am I having a heart attack? Am I having a stroke? Because you've lost all focus. That's how all these things happen. That's the road and pathway that leads right to that. Some of you may never have that experience. It'll be far and few between, but most of you will have this. If you're trading with real money, it will happen. You will have an anxiety attack. You will feel like you're literally having a heart attack or stroke, and you're doing it to yourself. You're scaring yourself. Cut half the trade off, stop better than break the even, and let it happen. Whatever's going to happen is happening, but walk away from the charts. The stop's there to do its job. The limit order will be there to get you out. Stop looking at it and give 10 minutes for your body to regulate all the hormones. For some of you young guys or gals that never had that experience yet, you'll have a panic attack. It's just a high level of stress. You may not ever want to submit to it and call it a panic attack. It's just an anxious moment. But if you have racing thoughts and physical symptoms of wanting to pass out or stroke or tingliness up and down your arm or whatever, that's adrenaline. And you're sitting still. The easiest thing to do is just take a quick walk, burn it off, exercise, do some kind of you know physical exertion to burn that stuff off, and constantly tell yourself there is no emergency and everything's fine. And you self-talk yourself down from that, which is the reason why I teach you to self-talk in your journal. Don't invite that negative stuff, because if you bring the negative stuff in there, what you're doing is you're saying, I'm pursuing right. And right is not the goal here. Consistently profitable. And if you're only framing that in the context of right only, you're going to take trades that are going to be outside the parameters that your model is, because you're thinking, oh, this is one of those times where it's going to move and it's outside the kill zone. And, this is, I got time. I just think it's going to go up there, and maybe just get in there and push the button. And you know damn well doing it, you're doing everything wrong.